Welcome to Behind the Podcast Mic, the podcast for podcasters and those ready to hit record for the first time. Join your host, Emanuel Rose, for a show that's your go-to resource for everything podcasting. In each episode, we'll pull back the curtain on what makes podcasting such a powerful tool for connection, authority, and growth. Whether you're just starting out or looking to sharpen your skills, this show will guide you through the art and strategy of building a podcast that stands out. We'll dive into solo insights, guest interviews, and real-world best practices, all designed to help you master the mic. Behind the Mic is sponsored by Fluent Frame, a creative partner that transforms your ideas into polished episodes and lasting digital assets. So tune in and learn how podcasting can grow your audience, expand your network, and position you as a thought leader in your field. Let's step behind the mic.
Welcome to this episode of Behind the Podcast Mic. I'm Emanuel Rose, and joining me again is Georgi Ninov, who is one of the co-founders of Fluent Frame and a renowned podcaster in Bulgaria and worldwide. Georgi, thanks for spending some time with me again.
Great pleasure talking to you, Emmanuel. Your questions are very deep and insightful, and I believe that we can bring some extra value to your listeners.
Yeah, I hope so. I hope my goal is that we're going to start a new 1,000 podcasts with this podcast. Every year, we're going to get 1,000 people to be excited about telling their stories and about talking about their brands and the things that they love in their life and what they're working to create. And I know that you understand the powerful mechanism that a podcast is and how it is life-altering, life-changing, and it creates a new reality that is impossible to imagine at the beginning. So we talked a little bit about your creation story in the last episode. What I'm interested to hear about is now that you've got so many podcast episodes under your belt, how are you generating ideas for content for the next 500 episodes?
It's a great question because some of the new podcast hosts are stuck with not enough ideas to get more content under their belt. In my end, it's quite easy because what I focus on is not the topic, but the human story. And a very good friend of mine, Ivo Ivanov, he's a renowned author here in Bulgaria, but lives in Kansas, in the States. He told me back in the days in an episode 146 of my podcast, he said, within every one of us, there is a story waiting to be told. And having in mind that I interview people that give good example, I believe that there are way more than 500 more of these people here in Bulgaria.
Yeah.
So in my niche, where I try to get inspiration, motivation, courage, to raise self-esteem, to make people braver and get them back towards their dreams so they can chase them and not stop and just follow life and go in the rat race. I believe that I probably selected the best content that there is for me.
Right.
But it's lucky coincidence on my end. For other people that are looking for topics, I would highly recommend to dig deeper into the topics that have already been on the podcast, to give different perspectives, but never forget that the most important thing, the thing that generally changes the minds of people, are stories. And the best stories are the authentic stories of real people.
Yeah.
Just like you are interviewing me now, and I'm sharing my own personal story and my own personal perspective towards how to make a successful podcast that I started with this iPad over there like 9 years ago, and now I have this amazing studio and like 6-man team and all of the perks that I never even dreamed about back in the days. So it's a it's individual for everyone, but if you love what you do, and you are not doing it because of the money, but for a greater why, a greater purpose. In my case, I want to transform Bulgaria's society. Therefore, my mission is very simple. Every Tuesday, a brand new episode.
Nice.
For other branded content, it might be another strategy. It might be like seasons. You might pick a season for, I don't know, habits, season for motivation, season for social media, whatever. I mean, you can diversify, and you can use ChatGPT and other tools just to give you ideas, or to research the market, what is needed, what are the trends in searches. So there are way more ways to get ideas for content nowadays.
Yeah, I agree, and I think uh, the challenge for me at this point is the monologue episode, and I
The
think
talking
that's
head.
the most challenging part of being authentic and talking to the camera on a topic, and not trying to be glossy about it. What do you find for those monologue episodes?
Um, I only have one monologue episodes uh, out of these 500, because I asked my audience to send me questions in Instagram, because I was aiming to record episode 400 to be an episode for the youngsters, for the people that are looking for their own superhuman path.
No.
So I collected probably around 50 questions, and answered to all of them talking to the camera. For me, it's way easier to answer to real questions than to get information that I want to give back towards the community of my listeners and viewers,
Yeah.
as a talking head video or a talking head podcast. And this is something that I found that works best for me. I can bounce around with discussions, questions, interactions, but would not be able to do 500 episodes of me talking to the camera. This is totally another story. So I want to um, work with my strengths, and the ease of work is very important to me, compared to doing things that are hard and I really don't feel like I am good at doing.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I'm trying to work it in one out of every 10 is a monologue episode, because I know that's part of the trend, at least in the US, is
Mm.
that's what people are looking for. And I'm pushing myself to build that muscle of the monologue.
Okay, I can give you an idea that comes to mind.
Great.
Should not uh, let me rephrase it. If you're doing this every now and every once in a while, you can say, okay, what are the most important things that I've learned in the past episodes?
Oh
So
yeah.
this is going to drive people towards them, and it can also give you some ability to reflect on important topics and listen to these episodes on your own and think about, okay, what did I get out of this? What
Yeah.
what what interesting happened out of it? Because some of these episodes lead to great stories. The way we met actually was through a meeting, a cold outreach through LinkedIn.
Yeah.
We told you what we are planning to do and currently doing and developing. And this became a very interesting friendship just through the Atlantic Ocean,
Yeah.
from Europe to the States. And hopefully, it's the beginning of a wonderful collaboration and work together. And this is one thing that is worth sharing, of course. So yeah, ideas come to mind, and you can become creative by working on your creative muscle, like trying new things, and addressing topics through different perspectives. And as a person that likes questions and is approaching books and podcasts with questions in mind, I'm always like, what am I going to take out of this book? What am I looking forward to solve in my life that might be coming out of this book? It might be a quote, it might be a situation, something that helps me at this particular moment.
I love it, and I think that's what's so amazing about podcasting in general now is that anything that I'm interested in, I can find. I can find some podcasts that are covering the topic, and it's portable. I can do it while I'm driving or while I'm walking my dog, and so the benefits are there, and that's why it's going to continue to grow. Um, I am interested to know, are you mentoring any podcasters right now that are like under 25?
Yeah, I'm having next week blocked 4 of the days, 4 hours per day for 15-minute sessions with not only under 25, but a lot of people in the podcast industry in Bulgaria. So I can help them solve the biggest problems, questions, things in mind at the moment so they can continue going forward with their own podcasts.
Love it.
But the mentorship role is currently on hold because mentoring requires availability of time.
Yeah.
So what I do is I have two high school podcasts here in the studio, pro bono, recording here using my cameras, my Blackmagic Pocket 4Ks, my equipment, my lighting, everything absolutely for free because I believe in the youngsters and their willingness to put themselves in situations that are unknown with the desire to learn and get experience and pay forward because someone helped them. I believe that such people get this concept very early and they are going to be helping other people along the way.
Yeah.
So, but right now, one of the podcasts hosts just graduated. So I would need to find another podcast to studio of high schoolers.
Yeah.
So probably this will be one of my main tasks in the beginning of the year. I might even start um, some kind of a poll or competition for people to say how motivated they are to record something here, to have this studio at their availability, um, to speak about important things, whatever it's important for them. Is it civic society? Is it education? Is it career choices, life choices? Everything that's suitable for high schoolers and
Yeah.
youth.
That's a neat. I think that's an interesting snapshot. And if some of the ones that are more experienced, I'd love to have them on this show and talk about what their experience is behind the podcast mic and how they how they're doing the work of podcasting. That'd be interesting to dig into.
I have a couple of guys in mind that I can get you in contact with, no worries.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that when you talk to Tsvetan, my co-founder in Fluent Frame, he's going to share how he felt when I called him and told him, let's meet and come here and record it here, not in your grandmother's apartment. So yeah, this
Yeah.
led to another amazing story, but we've shared this last time.
Yeah. All right. I love it. Well, a lot of people get into podcasting and then it's they're thinking, well, I want to be the next Joe Rogan. I want to get a $200 million contract with Spotify. But there are some costs that are associated with being a podcaster. Some, you'd like to make a little bit of money to try to cover those costs, but it really does become an asset that is bigger than just monetization. And so let's just talk a little bit about, all the different ways that podcasting helps, including getting some sponsorship money, but also the other ways that it
Mm.
supports a person in their business.
So for me, there are a couple of unexplored ideas and bonuses around the podcast, uh, and I'm going to frame this as my podcast is called the Superhuman Podcast with Georgi Ninov. I realized that I have two brands in one name, probably at the end of the first year of the podcast, when people started associating Georgi Ninov with podcasts. So my name became
Mm.
um, connected towards the word podcast in Bulgaria. I realized that if this is the case, then I'm building my own personal reputation and brand. And as soon as I came back from Germany and continued working uh, exclusively on the podcast, I started receiving offers to host events,
Mm.
to moderate panels and discussions, to facilitate different company events, to perform lectures and give keynotes. So at some point, I started thinking, oh, wow, this is something that I never thought is going to happen. I'm interviewing people, but I'm also learning their stories. I'm just packing their stories and then I can share them in a marketable way just to prove a point that everything is possible here in Bulgaria, that if you work hard enough, you can achieve success or whatever is the key takeaway for me from one of my interview stories. And then this became probably a very significant part of my monetization and sustainability model. I'm getting more than 20% of my income coming through hosting events, being a moderator in discussion panels, or giving speeches, keynotes, and lectures. Note, I never ever take money from high schoolers or students.
Right.
Everything that I do for them itself is free. It might be sponsored for me to get their accommodation, travel, fuel, whatever, but I never take money directly from Bulgarian youngsters. And this is me paying forward because I'm getting the more I give, the more I get.
Yep.
This is one thing that I never thought it's going to be possible, but now at my year nine, I literally come from a hotel that's a nomad workplace here in Bulgaria called Work Nomads, where people are giving accommodation to nomads to stay here in Bulgaria, work from here, explore, and they're also doing some kind of services to back this business with enough cash to make it stable and sustainable. And these people invite me because they say, hey, you have a solid reputation. Everyone we've talked to that worked with you, Georgi, had said Georgi is an amazing guy. He's doing the things that he promises to. He has this integrity.
Yep.
And companies like Coca-Cola, Lidl, all the companies here, the large ones in Bulgaria, know who I am and invite me to their meetings for all of the things that I can provide them with. I can host discussion between management. I can give a speech about fixed mindset, growth mindset, give examples from my podcast. I can do everything because I've been uh, getting so much information and contacts out of my podcast.
Yeah.
But people rarely think deeply about the bonuses that are coming, the byproducts that are coming from a podcast where you interview great people, successful people with the willingness to share. And this, the story that I monetized by podcast in a way that was not by the books, but how I felt like I should do it,
Yeah.
is the most sustainable way that I probably could have learned about and applied. So I did it my way. Quote aside, I mean, I know it's a cliche, but I did it really like no other. And
Yeah.
this is not because I was chasing Joe Rogan, but because I want to do a podcast that I needed. And I'm always talking like I want myself 10 years ago to listen to this podcast. And that's why I believe that I find people like me to listen to my podcast, and this grows the audience. And sponsors like engaged audiences. They don't care that I have only 25,000 people in my YouTube channel. They like that my average view duration is 1 hour and my average listen duration on Spotify is um, 30% of the people stay all the way till the end
Wow.
for 3 hour long podcasts. So these are the things that really matter, like demographics and engagement.
Well, there's a lot there. I think it's I like what you're saying about picking a topic that's important to you. And then I say I've got a PhD now in AI because I've talked to 200 people all over the world who are on the cutting edge of AI, and I've got to spend an hour with them. You know, it's amazing. So it has
And
to
it's
be,
free.
yeah,
And it's free.
right.
And people like talking about what they know and what their experiences are. So people are generally happy to share what they know. And just like How to Win Friends and Influence People, one of the best advices that I got out of this book is be interested, not
Yes.
interesting.
Right. Absolutely.
Because if you're interested in other people, they're like, okay, let's talk again. How can I help you? People love when others listen.
Yeah. I love it. So the monetization starts really the value. We'll just change that word from monetization to value. The
Mhm.
value starts with me learning about something I'm interested in.
Mm.
And then it
Oh,
cascades out from there in terms of great content for social media, amazing connections, and amazing ability to connect people with like interests together, and then being a hub of introductions.
yeah. I would never forget how I decided to base my podcast before I even started recording it on a one principle, one habit coming out of the Seven Habits of the Highly Effective People, a
Yep.
book that I adore. It's habit number 4. Always think win win. And
Nice.
this is an amazing way to phrase what a podcast can do. Sorry, is can you make it so your guests get a win, and
Yeah.
then your audience gets a win? And I call this um, the triangle of value because
Nice.
on each angles you have um, a stakeholder,
Yep.
the guest, the host, and the team, and then you have the audience, and these are interconnected. What's the value for the guest? He has the opportunity to talk to the audience. So the audience cannot meet this guy on the street. So the audience gets back the ability to listen to a person that they won't be able to meet in person here in Bulgaria. This is my case. Or they
Yep.
won't be able to meet this Japanese guy that you're talking about AI with, or this Bulgarian guy that's like halfway across the world from where you're at the moment.
Yeah.
Then what I get is the network of these amazing guests, and what the guest get is the ability to talk to the audience that I provide him with. So I have 25,000 people that are really motivated to learn more and change their lives, um, listening to a story that's authentic and picking their own not sorry, not being told what to do. And then what I get from my audience is they come back because they like the content,
Yep.
and I give them opportunity that they never had in their life. So it's an amazing contribution towards everyone that's part of this triangle of value. So I would highly advise you guys, when you start a podcast or you currently have and you feel like you're not sure how you bring value, write win win on the top of the page. And below that, think of ways to bring this value towards the people that are participating in it. And then at some point, you're going to add a word there, sponsor. And the sponsor is also someone that you bring value to. You bring value through the guests and their reputation. You bring value towards through your audience, because if the audience is the right audience, the sponsor has the value of talking to these people. And I can give you an example of that. And also, the sponsor is in Bulgaria, at least, this is very valuable for them because my reputation is intact. So they are associated with someone with great reputation.
Yep.
In 2021, I got a phone call from a friend of mine. He wants to get me in contact with the founder of a great company that became part of Yotpo. Yotpo is one of the marketing platforms for e-commerce. It's valued at $1.4 billion. It's a 13-year-old company. And the guys in Yotpo did a survey in their office. What podcasts do their employees listen to?
Okay.
Guess what? The Superhuman podcast was there.
Awesome.
So they thought, if our current employees are listening to this podcast, then his listeners are employees of someone else's company that are identical to our employees, and we want to talk to them.
Yes.
So I have a 4-year long sponsorship now that keeps coming back every year. I don't have to bring any additional value apart from keep making my podcast, the podcast that they are listening to in their own office.
Love
This
it.
means that other people like them are listening to it.
Right.
So how much simpler than that can it be?
Yeah, what a great story. It is the perfect circle of life right there. You're being Georgie, you're having conversation Georgie wants to have, listeners love what you're doing, and then you get paid to be Georgie.
But in the beginning, you need to become the better host and you improve with
Yeah,
each episode and you
absolutely.
bring value through how much better your questions become, how much more experienced you are when talking to the people that come on the podcast. So there's this bonus of your own personal development in something that feels like progress. And we all want to feel like we're getting better at things. And the
Yeah.
podcast can be one of these things that can get you better in listening, active listening, getting amazing questions, digging deep, and finding amazing relationships with great people.
I love it. Well, I really appreciate your time today and going through that. And I love the value triangle that you described. I think that
Mm.
is makes a lot of sense to me. I also love the idea of that you brought up about how we can generate ideas for shows and for each individual episode, and continue to be interested in the world and the people around us, and that will drive great content. Um, well, just to close things out, do you have a quote or a book that you're reading or something of inspirational quality you can share with me, Georgie?
Yeah, because I'm listening to a lot of things at the moment, mainly because when I go to sleep and when I go back home, there's my little daughter there that I need to
Oh,
spend time reading kids' books and playing around with her. So I don't have enough time to read as much as I was reading before she was born. Um, I'm currently listening to Alchemy by Rory Sutherland, which is an amazing book. But for some reason, I our conversation got me back to Gary Keller's The One Thing. Have you read it?
no, I haven't read that one.
It's a great book that, for me as a podcaster, a hobby podcaster, was amazing help at the right time. So in the beginning, as I was growing my podcast, I was thinking, okay, I should make a website and I should have articles and I should do this and this and this and newsletter and whatever. And back in the days, there were no shorts. Now you can do short,
Right.
mid clip,
Yeah.
everything. We Fluent Frame do all of these things for you. But back in the day, there were no such instruments. So I asked myself a question that I found in this book, which is the focusing question. The question is, what is the thing that you're not doing, but by doing it, everything else will become much easier or totally unnecessary?
Yeah.
And the answer for my podcast was that's very simple. Every week, a brand new episode. So I was only recording, listening to, and publishing my new episode on Facebook, and that was it. A year later, people started coming to help me. volunteers. Then I got my first Patreons. I was able to get some budget to get people on board. Things grow out of consistency and effort. They don't grow out of doing everything in the beginning. Just start step by step, expand it slowly. So the question and the quote that I want to leave here at the end of the episode is the Gary Keller's focusing question. What is the thing that I'm not doing, but by doing it, everything else will become way easier or totally unnecessary?
Mm. Well, that's a beautiful message. Consistency and perseverance, and good things will come.
Yeah.
Georgi, thanks so much again for your time. And this has been a great episode of Behind the Podcast Mic with Emanuel Rose, sponsored by Fluent Frame. Thanks for joining me.
Thank you for having me, Emmanuel. And if there are any more questions coming your way, send them over via my LinkedIn, Georgi Ninov. You'll find me.
Thanks for joining us on Behind the Podcast Mic. If you found today's episode helpful, be sure to subscribe and share it with someone else who's thinking about starting or leveling up their podcast. This show is sponsored by Fluent Frame, your creative partner in building a podcasting system that works. From professional production to strategic distribution, Fluent Frame helps turn your voice into a scalable content engine that drives visibility, trust, and growth. Ready to launch or improve your podcast? Visit influentframe.com to learn how they can help bring your vision to life. Until next time, keep creating, keep connecting, and keep stepping up to the mic.